Well, hello and welcome to my channel, all freedom-loving and law-abiding friends. So today's topic on my channel is going to be exclusively on illegal immigration, and also right to protect our lives and ourselves, and right to bear arms in relation to, again, within the context of the current developments, which is basically the number one priority on the nation's topic today. Illegal immigration from the southern border. So I just kind of, before I start, I'd like to show you, this is my neat t-shirt that I actually ordered from Etsy to kind of show my support that I stand with Texas. I stand with Texas to show my support for Texas, all Texans, and the Governor Greg Abbott in his fight, in his efforts to protect his state, the citizens of Texas state and the border. So first off, I want to a little bit briefly describe myself and why am I talking about this. Kind of want to create a perspective before I go any further. My name is Erden, and I've been living in the United States now 35 years. I became a naturalized U.S. citizen, naturalized American citizen, in August 15, 2001. I came to this country from Turkey originally, and I've been since then over 35 years now. I did not have a single illegal day, because I paid utmost attention to do everything by law. And I became an American citizen. I've been married for the last 27 plus years to an American citizen, American woman from Kansas native. And we have a daughter, almost, I should be 23 years old. She was born and raised in Minnesota. We're currently living in Minnesota. So after this brief description, I want a little bit of again, put a little more detailed perspective on this topic. First off, as Greg Abbott was saying, that I want to bring the microphone here a little better. Maybe my volume is a little less. I'm just making sure that it is actually using this mic. Yep, looks like it is. Okay, so I'll try to be, because my last video was a little low. The volume was low. So anyway, sorry about the interruption. So this is what I want to discuss. First off, Greg Abbott was saying on one of his videos, and it is 100% right. Anyone who looks at the history of the immigration and immigration patterns, last 10 years, 20 years, 30, 40 years, the level and the volume of it that is happening today, last 3 years particularly, is absolutely unprecedented, has never been seen before in the entire history of the United States of America when it comes to immigration. Immigration policy has been for a long time broken. Everybody knows that, and everybody acknowledges that. No one puts the entire blame on the current administration as far as the system is being broken. But since Biden came to power, close to 9, give and take, numbers, your numbers will be slightly different than mine, but give and take, close to 9 million people entered into this country illegally. The key word is illegal, meaning they're undocumented, they're unvetted, they cross the border illegally, they cheat the system, they broke the law, they're in this country illegally. So how is that, it's become a crisis to the point that it has never been seen, was the sheer number, the sheer volume of it. As again, Greg Abbott calls it, it's nothing short of invasion, absolute invasion. So you can tell me, myself as an immigrant, I want to share, that's why I just wanted to make this video. I wanted to share my thoughts on immigration as an immigrant. These are the things that American people do expect and should expect from a person who decided to come to this country, settle down, and decided to make a living, raise a family, find a job, work, earn a living, all those things. The things that should be expected from that person are: one, learn the language of this nation. And the language is American, right? Two, understand the value system, the cultural nuances of this land, and respect to those values. Three, learn and understand the law of the land and be respectful of the law of the land. There are additional expectations, and it's natural, like should be, from an immigrant. That is not an easy process once you leave your country of origin and then you make a move to a new world where everything is foreign to you. That means there's a lot of learning waiting for you. There's a lots of learning and lots of challenges waiting for you. That goes without saying. I don't think anyone can challenge this. And these are the expectations. So a person who's coming here are expected to provide and do those things. But what we're seeing now today, amongst the newcomers, the illegal immigrants, examples we all saw on TV, on YouTube. I'm sorry, I take it back. Not on TV, because the mainstream media are doing everything to hide this from the public's attention. But thanks to YouTube and thanks to other social media platforms, everybody is seeing what's going on and what is taking place and what kind of ugliness is taking place and to what extent. Such as in New York City, 5 or 6 illegal immigrants attacked the NYPD officer and beat him on the street. Right now they're looking for those guys. Another one recently got arrested again in New York City because somehow he obtained a gun and he used that gun. He basically shot at somebody, he missed, and then there was another tourist just standing there, got wounded in the leg. Thanks God he didn't lose his life. He got also caught, excuse me, and arrested. The criminal factor and the criminality aspect of amongst the illegal immigrants are now way beyond anyone can and like to imagine. You remember what I said? I am technically an immigrant, and I came to this country 35 plus years ago. Now it's going to be 35 and a half, and I've been a citizen, naturalized citizen, since August 15, 2001. Not a single day of any kind of undocumented immigration status, any kind of violation of any visa status. I originally came on F1 student visa. And again, I did not violate the status one day. I followed everything to the letter on the book. As far as complying with law, I've been always 100% in compliance in this matter, in this whole, they called it INS today, they call it USCIS, United States Customs and Information Services. But my time it was Immigration and Naturalization Services. Did not have the slightest amount of problem. And I do expect myself as an immigrant, same thing from every single immigrant. I don't think a single immigrant deserve any kind of lenience in terms of, okay, they're illegal, but let's work out with them, let's work it out, let's help them because of this, because of that. So many of them are coming to apply for asylum. By the way, the asylum acceptance rates are 15%. So many of them are always thinking they can outsmart the U.S. government and they can kind of, cheat their way in during the asylum process. Well, reality check, it doesn't work like that. That's why it's 15%. So, that's basically what is taking place. The criminality factor that is, right now is the natural, almost, I hate to say that, I was going to say natural component of illegal immigration, but unfortunately it is. And plus one more thing, terrorists. So far, they've captured terrorists who were on the watch list, terrorist watch list. And what they say is, though, these are the ones that we were able to catch. But because of the fact that Biden administration opened the border 3 years ago, immediately after he came to power, what he did was he changed the measures that was put in place by Donald Trump to check the immigration at a minimal level, which it was a minimal level. It was at the minimum level for the past 40 years in 2017 when Trump was in power. After Biden came to power, the first thing he did was he reverted those executive orders that was put in place by Donald Trump. One of them was Title 42, which was dealing with the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. The other one is Remain in Mexico. That was another executive order. And there was two more. He did away with those. And all this catch and release process started. So since then, last 3 years, millions and millions and millions of illegals who were captured on the border were released. So now the question is this. What is the safety question? How safe Americans are now because of this situation? And I want to touch base to that. For this, I want to go back to what the director of FBI, a couple months ago, I think maybe 3 months ago, he was answering the questions by Congress, by the senators, about this issue, safety issue. And what he said was, it's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when. That means when some major terror attack will happen. We have no control. We don't know how many terrorists are in our midst, but we for sure know, without a doubt, for sure 100%, we're confident that there are terrorists that we currently are not aware, but they are here. And that is another horrible aspect of this policy 3 years ago, which was started by Biden administration. And there's one more factor. The fentanyl. The drug push increased, it doubled, tripled, quadrupled, especially when it comes to fentanyl. If you think about the number of deaths in the United States, tens of thousands of Americans are dying because of fentanyl. Because with this enormous amount of push every day from these open borders, tens of thousands of people have been crossing, and the cartel have been using this as a great opportunity, leveraging this to basically push illegal drugs, fentanyl, also guns, to the United States or from the United States. So, if you look at it, I cannot help but ask myself the question, how is it the Biden administration could do such thing? And why? So I'm thinking, okay, that is the manifestation of this bleeding liberal hearts, and they want to open their arms to every poor from every poor corner of the world. Right now there are 73 different nationalities are represented at the border. 73 different nationalities. After Greg Abbott's efforts that he took the 100% initiative into his hands, and he is basically invoking the right that is guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States to protect the state against one, imminent danger, and against two, invasion. Both are taking place in the state of Texas, and Governor Abbott, using Texas state constitutional right of Texas, state of Texas, started taking the basic matters into his hand because President of the United States is not doing his job on purpose. If the question is out of their bleeding hearts, out of their liberal ideology, that they are thinking that they should bring everybody into this country to help, I don't know how it is sustainable, how mathematically possible, how economically possible. You can discuss yourself. But there was actually another motive, another kind of a ulterior motive, and not kind, there was actually an ulterior motive, you all know that, to increase the voter base for Democrats, for the Democratic establishment, so they can guarantee their status in the political life, political arena, in American politics, and then from there onward, they can bring any kind of damage because they are not serving here. They're not here to serve American people. Their 100% allegiance is to the globalist elite, the ones represented by World Economic Forum, WEF. Their complete allegiance is to this kind of setup in the world. We call it New World Order. We call it the Agenda of 2030. We call it Great Reset. All those names, we all know those, right? Those concepts. And this government is in cahoots with the globalist elite, serving their needs, absolutely turning their backs to the American people. They did not care a bit what was going to happen, and they knew very well what was going to happen after 3 years, as we're witnessing now in New York City, in Chicago, in Denver, in Michigan, in Oregon, in California. The crisis, basically, especially now, I want to just briefly mention the situation and the level of crisis in New York City, came to the point that they're taking the little children out of their schools so they can use a school building as a shelter. They emptied the shelters that was being utilized by those Americans who deserve to be there. One example, I remember 90-year-old Vietnam veteran was living in one of those shelters. He was taken forced out of there so they could put those illegal immigrants. If that doesn't boil your blood, ask yourself what does. We're facing this kind of treason by the American government, by the Biden administration in this country. It boiled my blood as an immigrant. Because I came to this country after 35 and a half years. I know that this country is my future, is my daughter's future. This is the greatest country on the face of the earth in history. And deserves a lot better government. Today, Biden administration does not need any more laws to stop this. He has all the power to stop it, just like he reverted those executive orders by President Trump, the real president. He can revert his executive orders to stop it. He can stop it. He can shut it down in a single day. He hasn't done it, and he's not going to do it. Because that's not what his intentions are. Because his plans are serving something else, something extremely insidious, ugly, and treasonous. Biden administration is in treason. Now I'm going to get to the second part of what I was going to tell you. How safe do you think we are with these people? And I'm hearing rumors that it might be correct, it may be partially correct, it might be exaggeration, but hear this. First off, one thing I want to tell you, and this is not a rumor, they are planning and working on, officially they were discussing that, they plan in New York City to give voting rights for the New York City elections. Illegal immigrants will vote, to determine who's going to run the city. Now, ask New Yorkers. New York is a bastion of liberalism. New York State is a bastion, one of the most liberal states. And the New York State, governor of New York State, Kathy, I think her last name is, I can't remember her last name, and her first name is Kathy. She was saying, she was one of the most liberal governors, and she was saying, I want these illegals to be deported. I heard her saying that, especially those 5 guys who attacked NYPD police officer and who beat them basically ruthlessly on the street. She said that. A lot of people in New York, most are liberal. They all voted for Biden. They turned against Biden. They feel they were wronged, and wronged big time. And they're right to feel that way. I wish they thought about that 3 years ago when they were voting for Biden. So, again, coming back to safety question. If they are working on giving rights to these illegal people to vote, what makes you think they're not going to give them rights to buy firearms? I say that because I was hearing those rumors. I hope they are, but I don't think so. And now these illegal immigrants will be buying firearms, or somehow will be able to access to firearms. We're talking about people who don't think they have anything to lose, just like those 5 young guys who were, beating under the cameras NYPD police officers. What is the worst thing happen to them? They can kick out and maybe, serve a couple of years, and then, liberal judges will let them go out of their liberal hearts, bleeding liberal hearts. And, if they stay, they can continue their crimes. That's fine. That's okay. If these guys are armed, ask yourself, how safe do you think you're going to feel yourself in your home with your family members? I guess it is time to consider being armed even more seriously. It's not a joke. The danger is here. Illegal immigrants, already known that they have a lot of criminal factor among them, on top of the terrorist aspects of it. There are 2 dimensions to it. Again, illegal immigrants have a lot of criminal factor elements among them, plus terrorist elements. If you look at them, most of those illegal immigrants going through crossing the border are the fighting age males, 25 approximately years old males, not elderly people, not little kids, not women. Fighting age males. Amongst them, there's a lot of criminal factors, and do I have to remind people in duress? The amount of stress can bring up a lot of criminality aspects and factors of human nature. Right now, we're sitting on a ticking bomb because of the Biden administration's policies, because of his treasonous policies. And right now, it is even more important than ever to start thinking about and planning on getting armed and practicing with those firearms, coming up with some kind of strategies, talking with the family members and neighbors and friends to discuss what happens if groups of those guys, gangs, come into your neighborhood. People in New York City, typical liberal behavior, if you were asking them before anything else had happened, they'd be saying, "Oh, come on, please bring them. We're all nice. We can, accept everybody." Once they showed up on their backyard, they are complaining now. That's what we were saying for years, and for some reason, I was myself personally, and people like me with the similar thinking patterns were named in the names. We're this, we're that. Well, it's happening now. And that's why I was telling them, what would you do, dear liberals, when they come and say, get the hell out of this house, we're going to live here, what are you going to do? Are you still going to be bleeding liberal heart and accepting them and get out your house and you yourself be homeless just so those poor immigrants can live comfortably? There is no such thing in human history. There is no such. This is not possible. It is absolutely by far squarely against the human nature. Yet, liberals have been pushing in that direction. So what Texas State is doing now is the most beautiful thing. That's why I'm wearing this t-shirt proudly. I'm supporting every detail of Greg Abbott's plans to protect the borders of his state. We got 8 months to elections. I have every reason to believe President Donald J. Trump will come back. And I hope he is going to put a huge fight day one in the office, starting with this problem, as he stated clearly. The greatest domestic deportation will start in the history of the United States. That's what he said. All these people, I want to tell you this too. What would you do? I'm going to kind of describe something. In New York City, they're giving them prepaid credit cards. I don't know how much they put on them, but they put some money, right? They give them food, shelter, give them services like laundry services, legal services. They go out of their way to help them. When they give them food, they saw that they were dumping their food because it's not something they like. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. Please answer this. Be honest with yourself, whether you're Democrat or not. Be honest yourself. If someone comes to your house, if you invite somebody because you thought he or she is in a kind of a very stressful situation, and out of your goodness of your heart, you wanted to help that person, you're a good human being, and you even say, okay, stay here for a few days or maybe a week until you kind of, get back on your feet. And you try to feed him and put money in his pocket. And then he is dumping the food that you're giving him and saying, hey, I don't like this. And also, by the way, the money you gave me is not enough. What would you do? How would you react to this situation? Please be honest and answer this to yourself. This is what's happening in New York City. Billions upon billions upon billions of dollars are being spent on these guys to feed them, to give them prepaid credit cards, to give them smartphones, to dress them, to give them services, from laundry services to legal services. I'm not making this up. This is happening, and yet they are bringing their heavy criminal elements with them. They're attacking people, and they rape women. They basically, motorcycle gangs or mopeds, more like mopeds. They're basically accosting women who are walking on the street and kind of stealing her purse, dragging her on the street. All those things are happening every day. There is no way that this whole mess is sustainable. 80+% Americans, regardless of their ideological or party alignments, whether Democrat or Republican, they are fully aware of this problem, and they understand how horrible the picture is, the situation is. Yet, Biden administration is still not doing anything. Those so-called bipartisan proposals they came up with, they're offering. Trump is not accepting that, and I support him for not accepting. The kind of what is it? One of the things measures the law, the new proposed, not law, the bill has, unless it is less than 5,000 daily average, we're good. No, one is too many, way too many. One illegal a day is way too many. So this is my sincere and true take on immigration as a person who came to this country as an immigrant 35 plus years ago, as a student more like it, applied for immigration, applied for citizenship, green card, then citizenship status. I've been working the last 28 plus years since I got my graduate degree from Wichita State University in Kansas. I've been tax-paying, working citizen of this country, and I'm proud of being an American citizen. And I'm equally pissed to see what's going on. Thank you very much.